let us all do we can to build a better future. We're going to get started with our first segment. So, the Incredible Bulk and the Incredible Hulk.
That's good.
I know you like that. I know.
That was very clever.
I know. I'm being mean here. But basically, the Incredible Bulk, Cenk Uygur, and the Incredible Hulk, Mark Ruffalo, did some cringe. Ruffalo, there you go. Yeah, screwed that up. Did some cringe tweets on Israel and the Palestinian conflict. Let's pull up this first article. It's from RT America. So, Cenk, basically, I don't know what he's doing, but he tried to do an edgelord kind of tweet that's like set for the early 2000s about what's happening there in Israel and Palestine when there's a bigger conflict happening.
Look at me, I'm Cenk. I was popular in the early 2000s. Let me just use that lingo on Bada Bing Bada Boom. Hello, fellow kids.
Yes, exactly. So Cenk Uygur, the founder of the Young Turks News Network, has been accused of airing exceptionally subpar political analysis after suggesting that the conflict between Israel and the Israelis and Palestinians is over fictitious deities.
By the way, I just got to say that the way that they put it, how did they say that? Airing exceptionally subpar
political analysis.
That's a beautiful way of saying go F yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So, like many commentators, the popular liberal pundit took to Twitter to tweet to share his views on the ongoing unrest in the Middle East. And here is a tweet. Israelis and Palestinians kill each other over which sky god they pretend to speak to, and it's politically incorrect to point out that there is no human god, let alone one that favors Jews or Muslims. He mused on Monday. All this violence over the equivalent of which character they like better in the MCU.
Well, I mean, we've been covering this as well, and I don't know if there's a housing settlement god or a shooting rubber bullets at people
or lethal rounds.
Yeah, people peacefully praying in a mosque, one of the holiest mosques god, but okay, Cenk. You can say words.
But the analogy didn't sit well with many on social media. Numerous blue check marks expressed this belief that Cenk Uygur thought the conflict was in such seemingly simplistic terms. I mean, again, I've been rereading this cringe tweet, and it's just, dude, it's a bigger picture than just Sky God. And, you know, you just can't just use something that, again, probably would have taken off well in the early 2000s.
Well,
but, dude,
I just thought of something.
What's up?
What if Cenk is talking about jet planes? That's the sky god.
Well, no.
Then it's even more. Then it's more realistic, but more of an issue.
Yeah. However, he did acknowledge that the conflict is more about land, power, and colonialism later on, because, you know, of course, people were starting to call him out because he was probably getting ratioed. But this should tell you, like, look, you're the host of the largest, or supposedly the largest media network on social media.
No longer the largest live.
No longer the largest live, but I mean, they got 5 million.
What is he largest at right now?
Ego.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Well, even then.
It's rather kind of pathetic.
Can you let us know in the comments what Cenk is largest at right now? What he's best at? What he's number one at?
And there's no such thing as a wrong answer, folks. No such thing as a wrong answer for this one.
Though I am interested explicitly in a right answer. Because I can't think of one right now. I know they used to be the biggest news show on the internet. And they used to have the most live viewers.
Yeah, and so the thing is, like, I'm wondering, okay, Cenk, you bring up religion, but here's the thing, like, the First Testament, the Second Testament, the Quran, it's all the same. It's all the same guy. It's a trilogy.
Mormon. Don't forget the fourth book.
Yeah, the book. It's all the same story. It's all the same dude or gal. I don't know however you want to talk about it, but you know, for
what is it? Ancient sky deity.
Yeah, an
ancient war deity.
Yeah, exactly. Or you know, but again, it's just disappointing. But let's also talk about the actor who plays as the Incredible Hulk, because he tweeted something out again that was just as cringeworthy. And hold on, let me wait for it to load up just a little bit more. It's not happening right now. But the actor who plays, Mark Ruffalo.
Okay, the actor who plays Mark Ruffalo, also known as the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, yes, or he plays as the Incredible Hulk. He recently tweeted out something. Can we actually pull up the tweet? Let's actually scroll down. I'll actually have to read it there. So hold on, wait. Can you scroll up on the first paragraph right there? So, all right, let's do this. So, actor Mark Ruffalo has divided social media after apologizing for provocative statements he made about Israel. Some said his backpedaling was courageous, while others denounced him as spineless.
By the way, can everyone in the audience let me know a time in your life where someone backpedaled and you're like, that's courageous?
No, it's never. The Hollywood star has been among a gaggle of celebrities and prominent figures to weigh in on the uptick in violence between Israel and the Palestinians in recent weeks. Earlier this month, he called for economic restrictions on Tel Aviv, writing that sanctions on South Africa help free its black people. It's time for sanctions on Israel to free Palestinians.
Bernie Sanders would not approve of that statement.
The message included a link to a petition that demands international sanctions on key Israeli industries until Palestinians are granted full and equal civil rights. Cross-border rocket and missile attacks between Hamas-controlled Gaza and the Israeli military forces erupted earlier in May, following days of violent protests over Israel's plan to evict several Palestinian families from East Jerusalem to make room for Jewish settlers. There have been civilian casualties on both sides, but the Israeli military has been accused of carrying out disproportionate response, killing numerous non-combatants, including children. Scrolling down further, but in a tweet on Monday, Ruffalo sought to clarify his position on the conflict. I have reflected and want to apologize for posts during the recent Israel-Hamas fighting that suggested Israel is committing genocide.
Someone went to him and said, dude, you're not gonna get another movie.
It's not accurate. It's inflammatory, disrespectful, and being used to justify anti-Semitism here and abroad. Now is the time to avoid hyperbole. So here's what I have to say. Again, let's. There's more to the rest of the article about him making that statement on Twitter and people calling him out on it. But look, the conflict in Israel and Palestine right now, it's the world's most one-sided fistfight. The Israeli military has Abrams tanks, jet fighters, missile defense system, and military forces that can easily occupy Gaza and the West Bank, just like that.
And access to concrete. That's pretty big.
Yeah, and so the thing is, there is a genocide taking place. There is massive amount of displacement taking place, and the Palestinian people are receiving a brutal force, and we have to call it out. The Israeli government is an apartheid system, and they are trying everything they can right now to take away all the land from the Palestinian people, and we have to do international sanctions. So, Mark Ruffalo, you were correct in calling for sanctions. Did you get a phone call from somebody in Hollywood who just said, hey, you won't be in the next Avengers movie, or hey, you know that gig you want to do, you're not going to do it? I mean, that's the thing. Like, now it's a time for courage. And even Cenk, even adding his statement about, oh, it's just between a God. No, Sky God has nothing to do with this. This is about the Israeli military and its apartheid government moving in and displacing the Palestinian people.
So here's a question. If talking about Israel and apartheid and all that stuff is anti-Semitic, is talking negatively about Hamas Islamophobic by the same exact logic? I don't hear anyone saying that. I thought that we're supposed to be making consistent statements at this time. But okay, fine. If you want to say that about Israel, you have to say the same about Palestine and Hamas for the exact same reason. Otherwise, you're just picking and choosing a winner. And I will remind people, this is a very important thing. Apparently, it's not remembered at Hollywood or many other places. Israel does not represent all Jews.
Yeah.
Israel, even within Israel, doesn't represent all Jews. Israel is simply a country. It's like saying Britain represents all Caucasians or anything silly of that nature. It's a very disgusting shield to say that any attack on Israel is an attack on Judaism, but again, not extending that same protection to anyone else.
Yeah, exactly. So at the end of the day, Twitter isn't everything, but if you're going to tweet on that social media platform, be consistent. And if you know when to keep your mouth shut, just keep your mouth shut. Because right now, Mark and Cenk, a lot of people are calling you out. And, don't backpedal and don't be making some statements that are going to kind of get you ratioed. And, we're still not done with this. And sadly, the story that's happening between Israel and Palestine, it's still ongoing. And we have to call out the crimes that Israel is committing. And it's disgusting. It's an apartheid government that's imposing very brutal policies towards people that have been abused for far too long. We've seen the Red Crescent getting bombed. We saw the Associated Press building get bombed. We saw medical centers getting bombed. We're seeing women and children getting attacked. It is something that the international community needs to address now more than ever.